Your kicker, your punter, Avery Williams. I mean, these guys weren't even playing for you last year, and all of a sudden they've been such a big part of the turnaround. What do you attribute that to? I guess with those guys in particular.
Well, I think our specialists, those guys do a good job. Having Joel here, we talked about Joel, and he's obviously come out and has been productive for us. Big leg on kickoff. And then you had Hayden and Quinn, which we weren't quite sure. We had those guys in spring. We didn't quite know how productive they would be. They did a good job. And so far, having those guys has been, productive. We have two punters. You're able to use both guys, Quinn in there and Joel. Both guys are a little bit different. And then Hayden has kicked very well. And I think that that operation, Nick Pittman, Brock Barr on punt, those guys have all been very solid in what they've done. And then obviously having Avery back there. Avery, we knew about Said, but Avery's been a guy that we felt like could be a good addition for us in the back end and being able to return a little bit. And so far, so good.
I know how important that unit is, but I mean, in some games, I mean that's been maybe the difference between a win and a loss, depending on how they've done. I mean, how vital has that been for this season for you guys?
Yeah, our specialists. It's been huge. I mean, they go to the last game. We had a punt return. We had the punt return in the Troy game. But the field position battle, you're not always getting a return for a touchdown. You're not always going to get that in kickoff return. You're not always going to have a major loss of yardage on your coverage units and all that either. So, back on that again. You're not always going to have field position wins like we did in the last game. Let me just say that with touchdowns. So you can win the battle in the field position. You can win the battle if you can get yourself in position to where we can go kick some field goals and score some points as well. And those guys, operation-wise, have done it. They've done it in practice, and I think it's showed up in the games.
I know recruiting is always different, but I mean, how unique is it with your kicker and your punter? Both had to, almost gave up football. They both reached out to Coach Ridd and said, "Can you look at me kicking in my backyard?" And now here they both take a chance where it didn't sound like they were promised anything except a chance to come try. And now they're both your kicker and your punter and playing pretty big roles and a pretty crazy how it worked out.
Yeah, both their stories are very interesting. I think a little bit in that specialist world it works like that because you don't always know. These guys go to camps. They're trying to, even if it's a walk-on opportunity, they're just trying to get a shot. And Hayden's a great example. Hayden came in here. He just wanted to be at a place that he thought would be a good fit for him. Really, is just being a part of the team. And got in here, and in the springtime, Red worked with him. He did a good job. And then the summertime, that's really, we've talked about before, players can develop themselves so much in the summer. He came back in fall camp, and it was a battle between he and Joel, and Hayden was really consistent. Quinn is a guy that, what I like about Quinn's a long, tall punter. And, you like those guys, long lever guys. And he's been really consistent. He spends a lot of time developing himself to go out there and try to, be a great punter, and he's really good in the red zone. So both those guys, I think sometimes it just works like that. You're just looking for an opportunity. Everything in recruiting is about who's getting offered, who you're competing with, and all these things. And sometimes you got guys that just want a shot that are really good football players, and you give them one and believe in them a little bit, they can make some good things happen.
I know that walk-ons are a little bit different maybe than in the past. I mean, in most cases, you guys recruit walk-ons, but looking for maybe a shot in the arm on special teams this year, you got 3 former walk-ons that are making a really big difference for you guys there.
Well, those guys they're all part of the team. The one thing about the guys on our roster, and go back to Avery Williams, for example, he came in the spring, got a chance to talk to him for a few minutes, wanted to be a part of our team, and you have no idea. He's a good football player. He's a good kid. You do all the same research that you do on your recruited guys. We got 85 scholarships. We're going to have 105, 110 guys on our team. So, do the math. The rest of them are going to be walk-on guys, and I just think it's like anything else. Sometimes, for whatever reason, you don't have a number, guys get overlooked, whatever it is, and they find a place with us. They come in here. They're like every other guy on the team. They're going to work hard. They're going to have the same expectations, and then they go out there and create opportunities for themselves. And that's what those guys have done. And we've been fortunate. We've had some really good walk-ons here that have panned out, have been major contributors to our team. We got it this year again.
Since the Virginia game, is there one or two things that you can kind of point at Is the turnaround from these last couple of games, or is that just being too simplistic?
I think it's been a focus on, just what we do. It's the process. You've heard that. Everybody talks about a process. Well, there is a process, and it's just whether it's tweaked or not, it's whatever we decide we're going to focus on, and really actually doing that, doing it consistently each day. I think that's been a big part of it. If we deviate from that, we're not very good. When we follow it, and we're all on the same page, we're all aligned, we can be a pretty good football team showing up to the game. We're prepared. I think the physicality in the games, the last couple of games, has showed up. I think our guys have played physical. That's something that we're always talking about, but we're a good football team when we play a physical game. I think we're hard to beat when we go out there in all three phases are playing physical, playing fast. And if you do that, and a team beats you, they're really good. They're playing harder than you, and that just usually doesn't happen for us. So I think our guys have stepped up. Coaches have done a great job getting the guys to come out here and work throughout the week with that mindset to show up on game day that we're going to play physical, we're going to play fast, we're going to know what we're doing, we're going to follow our process, we're going to trust in it, and hopefully that shows up when we play, and it has the last couple games.
With the same tone, I guess, but last time you guys played on the Blue was almost a month ago. That feeling walking off after the Virginia game compared to how you guys are feeling next time you take the field, the Blue, has to be pretty different.
Yeah, we're happy to be back. A couple games on the road. Our guys, they handled the road really well. I thought they enjoyed it. San Diego State, we have a lot of guys from California, so there was a lot of people they got a chance to see. I thought that was good energy for our players, but being back at home on the Blue, I think the biggest thing is you walk out of the locker room and it says protect the Blue. That means something, and really understanding that. We had not a great performance the last time we were out here. Everybody's looking forward to getting back out in front of our crowd, to be back out here and to play better football than we obviously did. But I think we're there as a team too. Whether we're home or away, we're at a point now we want to continue to get better. If we stay the same as we did against San Diego State, and people can talk about there were some really good performances in there, and there was, that's not going to be good enough. We have to improve. We got to be better, and we got to take advantage of playing at home too. We don't have to travel. We don't have those same things on a Friday that we have to get on a plane and travel somewhere and be in a different environment. We're right here. There's no excuses. We're right here. We know what to expect, and we just got to be ready to play on Saturday night.
Against Troy, we saw a lot of Reed Harrison, Ducros, Des Williams. It seems like Avery's moved into that spot at corner, and it looks like Call has been playing a lot at that nickel spot. Is that a credit to those two young guys playing maybe better, or I guess maybe why we see as much of Reed and Des?
Yeah, I think it's a credit to those guys. Again, the rosters are not set in stone, throughout the season, so guys are still competing. The guys that are on the field, the majority of the time, they're the ones that, in meetings, understand their assignment. They walk out of meetings, they're applying it to practice, and they're giving themselves opportunities to play. And those guys have showed up in games. Avery's improved. He's done it in special teams, but he's improved on the defensive side in coverage. I thought he did a great job in the last game. And then Call is a young guy, but he really understands what we're trying to accomplish and has done a great job. And that's not a knock on anybody else, but there's competition that goes on, all the way throughout the season. And the coach's job is to put the best 11 guys on the field. And now there's different personnel groups and situations, but put the best 11 out there. And I think it all starts on Sunday. Your prep, your mindset, it carries over, because coaches are going to play the guys that are doing what they need to do throughout the week, because they trust them come game day. So I think it's just a credit to those guys. I think everybody's working hard, doing their part, but those guys have shown, significant improvement on the defensive side in particular.
You guys' ability to run the ball over the last couple of games, moving forward, there's obviously always like give and take in when you play defense and stuff. Do you kind of feel like there might be a big passing game coming or anything like that? I'm not saying like this week, but how will you guys' effectiveness in running the ball the last 2 weeks maybe open up some stuff moving forward?
Yeah, well, we want to be balanced. You don't want to just have to be one-dimensional. You always want to run the ball. I think everybody in America, regardless of what your style is, you want to run the football. You want to be able to do that, and I think what everybody means by that, when you want to run it, you can run it. And what does that do? At some point, you're not going to be able to. You've got to balance it out. You've got to be able to throw the football as well. You've got to be more consistent in that area. So Yeah, I think that's got to help. The run game has got to help our pass game. We've got to be able to go out there and feel good about throwing on first down and throwing the ball in certain situations. It's not always a third down, or and mixing some of it up, because right now those tendencies, when you start to look at it, you got to change some things, and so I think the balance has got to be there. But the way we run the ball, the way the guys have executed the run game, it's been obviously helpful for us, and we want that to continue, where now we get the option, being able to go out there and balance ourselves in the pass game.
Thank you, guys.